once you get your cabbages cut and get them wet, and then you sprinkle salt all over, and then make sure that your cabbage is kind of like a limp stage here, right? Not so crisp. See how they're kind of soft and bendable here? So then this means like I'm ready to have my kimchi rinsed in a water to get the salt out, and I just put them in a strainer. And I happen to have this strainer in the sink right there, okay? So, and make sure that all the water gets drained. And then after that, I'm ready to just mix my cabbage with a sauce that my husband made earlier. And I can't wait to eat just like a fresh homemade kimchi. I love it. You know, kimchi nowadays is very expensive because, you know, everything else, like you saw my videos on my groceries where I bought a loaf of bread and one bottle of carrot syrup cost nearly 10 bucks, $8.14 to be exact. And so when you can learn to make things on your own that are expensive, that'd be the best way to do it. Now, I love to make bread. The only problem is, it's like I want to make bread, but I'm not a bread eater. I know I don't like to eat a lot of bread. My main staple is rice. I grew up eating rice 3 times a day. So, but you know, not too many of us eat a lot of bread. So I don't see a reason why I should learn to make homemade bread. Because you know why? The reason I don't even make it in the beginning is because every time I smell the homemade bread and I make them, I probably eat the whole loaf before the family even get a chance to put hands on the homemade bread. When I used to work at Lagoon in the Pioneer Village, and I used to make homemade bread, homemade fudge, everything, and I just love the smell of it, and I just like keep licking my fingers, and I gained a lot of weight. So I know that I don't like to make sweet stuff. Bread is not so sweet, but we don't eat enough of bread for me to make a sense for me to make homemade bread, because otherwise I'll be eating all day long just homemade bread, nothing else. So we all know our limitations, what we have temptations for eating certain things too much, right? So anyway, once this water is drained, then I will be mixing this with the homemade sauce, but I'm gonna taste it and make sure it's not too salty. If it's salty, you may want to rinse it in the water and leave it in for about another 10-15 minutes and then drain it again. I cut my cabbage the shape or the length that I want. I used to just cut them just bite sizes to make easier for everybody else to eat. But then I realized I want to cut the length how I want to eat my kimchi. Forget about everybody else. No. But you know, when I serve it, I could always cut them into bite sizes. But this reminds me of like people, like, I guess I'm just mourning for my birth mother, or maybe just a traditional way of eating kimchi is that you would have this long piece of kimchi, and I'll show you later how they would eat it. But that just looks so good and so tasty. So I always want to remember my culture, and so I would just like take a bite of spoonful of rice and then put my kimchi like that and eat them like that. So that's the reason why I cut my kimchi long on purposely. Just to remember my culture and where I came from, and how that's the most Korean traditional way that people eat their kimchi, like old fashioned way. But like I said, for so many years, when I was raising kids, I would just cut them in bite sizes for kids to eat easily. And now that they're grown and gone, and I'm home, so now I'm gone back to how I would like to my kimchi. So whenever, you know, they come over for dinner and whatnot, I always, again, cut them. It's easier for my husband too, because, you know, they don't understand eating kimchi and like that. You know, it doesn't have any specific meaning to them, but it does for me. It's not salty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into, take this way and put them in a strainer. But I wanted to say something. See this jar? When you go to Oriental Food Market, they sell kimchi in this size jar. Now, I had this jar for many, many years when my friends and I, we used to make kimchi, and I think she brought her empty jar that she had for me to use, and I still have it. This was like 30, 40 years ago. But jar of kimchi like this, it costs nearly, probably anywhere between about $30 to $40, depends. It could be $50 too, $50 for jar this size kimchi. And they taste okay, they look good, but they taste okay to me, but I don't like it as much as my homemade, because I know what ingredients that I like to put in my kimchi. So for some of you who don't know how to make kimchi, you could go and buy a smaller jar, much smaller, and for about maybe $7 to $10 or something like that. But this size, I mean, so I'll be able to make 2 jar this size kimchi for about, I would say, kimchi costed, I bought a 2 head of Napa cabbage, and it probably costed me about maybe $20 or so, or less. They sell by per pound, so you could find it for like 99 cents a pound or something like that. And this weighs, 2 cabbage weighs about 7 pounds, something like that. And then I bought red pepper, package of red pepper for about $10, but then I use that for maybe like 10 to 15 bottles of this size. So that's gonna last me a long time. And fish sauce, a little bit of shrimp paste. So other ingredients that I buy, they gonna last me for a long, long time, that I could make probably like 10 to 15 jars this size of kimchi. So it saves a lot of money, especially nowadays when the inflation is so high, groceries are high and everything, and there's certain things that you really enjoy eating, but you know, you don't eat anymore because they're so expensive. And so try to make your own food as much as you can, because you get to make it the way how you like it, satisfy your taste bud. And other day, just for example, I went to buy a loaf of bread and a carrot syrup. I needed to have a carrot syrup for kimchi, and it cost me like $8.14, nearly $10. So you don't have to go without, you just have to come up with the different ways, different strategies, and learn to make things, learn to do things on your own.